my friends, welcome. I am Danny Rongo, that Oneness Guy, and this is that Oneness Guy vlog number 3 as we move right along. Hope you all are well. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you again, if you have not had the opportunity to please subscribe to this channel of mine, I'd appreciate it. Because as I said in the first vlog, that YouTube is pretty much the only platform that I'm going to be using going forward to share my music and message of oneness. So by all means, please subscribe. And also, if you can, and if you'd like to, share your email with me. All right, you can send your email to me right here, dannyrongo@gmail.com, as I'd love to add you also as well to my email distribution list to keep you informed of all things that I'm talking about in regards to oneness. All right, so let's get right into it in vlog number 3 here. What I want to do right now today is take, I guess, a step back, because last week what we did, based on the unfortunate passing of my friend, I got into what I call transitioning and how that pertains to oneness. But I want to go back right now, back to Oneness 101, if you may, pretty much some of the stuff that I spoke about in the first book. All right, which was, as you know, I am God and so are you, my friend, a common man's guide to oneness. When we consider oneness, all right, we think about it from the 2 perspectives, okay? And that is obviously the physical, which is us, which is our bodies, right? And how oneness applies to the physical, meaning that, all right, we're not going to do physical harm to one another, which is all well and good. But what I've discovered throughout the years is that to really have the message of oneness really take hold, all right, in individuals like it did as myself, is that you have to consider oneness from the spiritual side of the equation, okay? Not just the physical side of the equation. Because I'm sure you've all heard me say thousands upon thousands of times that on this journey here in our life, that we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We're actually spiritual beings and we're having this human experience, okay? That is what you need to understand, that while we're here, again, we're not human beings having a spiritual experience. It's the other way around. We're spiritual beings and we're having this human experience. So when I first considered that and came to understand it, as it pertains to oneness, I got it right away. But I said, how do I tell my friends? How do I tell people who are trying to get involved with oneness? Or how can I even prove it? How can I prove that we are spiritual beings? All right. And if you have read my first book, you remember this story, because it's a great story. And for me, it cuts right to the chase and emphatically proves that we are these spiritual beings and we're having a human experience. Again, it's a hypothetical, and it goes like this. Let's say that you have a friend who's in the hospital and he's starting to fail, okay? So you get a call from the nurse who's in charge of your friend's room, and she says, listen, you better get down here pretty soon because it's just a matter of time. So just get here. So you race down to the hospital and you go into the hospital room. Now, in the hospital room, it's only you, your friend, and the nurse who just called you, okay? Your friend's lying there in the bed. Due to hospital protocol, the nurse, she has to weigh your friend, okay? So, for argument's sake, let's just say he weighs 200 pounds, okay? About a minute goes by, and your friend, unfortunately, takes his last breath and transitions, passes away, okay? Now, due to follow-up protocol, the nurse in the room, she has to weigh your friend again, seeing that he's now deceased. She weighs him again at that moment and finds out that, he still weighs 200 pounds. The same as he did a few minutes ago when he was clinically still alive, But now he's clinically dead and he weighs the exact same. So as I say in my presentations and in my books and when I'm speaking to people, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? He weighed 200 pounds while he was alive. He passes away and he still weighs 200 pounds. What it tells you, what it tells us, is that whatever constitutes life as we know it, well, is weightless, right? Right? Think about it. 200 pounds alive, 200 pounds clinically dead. So whatever constitutes life as we know it is weightless. All right? And that is because we are spirit. We are spiritual beings. Okay? Think about that story for a second and how much sense it makes. All right? You know, so for the people who still believe that we are these bodies, we are not. These bodies, I've said it in so many different ways. You can say it, you can call it just our vehicle. My dear friend Caroline Chang calls it our spacesuit, which it is, right? We just like pop into these bodies while we're here, but that's all it's for. That's not us. That's not what we are. And again, so when we come to understand now that we are these spiritual beings, that we are spirit, then it becomes easier to recognize when I say that we are individualized expressions of one source. Now again, we don't get into religion here. We don't say it has to be whatever. I don't care what you call your one source. You can call it God, Spirit, Allah, Buddha. You can call it book, that book, my book, right? You can call it whatever you want. You can call it chair. It doesn't make a difference. But you need to know that we emanate from this one source. Again, we are individualized expressions of that one source. Now, people have asked me to explain that a little further. And I have another hypothetical that goes along with that, something also that I used in the book and I still use on stage whenever I'm speaking in public. Okay? And it goes like this. I love the Jersey Shore. I live very close to the Jersey Shore. Let's say I go down to the Jersey Shore one day and I have a bucket in my hand, okay? I take that bucket, I dip it in the Atlantic Ocean, and I pull it out and I hold it over here. Now, let me ask you something. Is the water that's in that bucket still considered the ocean? Why, yes, of course it is, right? Because I'm just dipping it in, so it's still the ocean, but it's just in this bucket, all right? Now, same situation. I got the bucket. Let's say if I'm taking the bucket and I dip it in, and let's say the ocean is your God or your higher source. So I dip the bucket in and I take it out. Is what's in the bucket now still considered your God? Of course it is, right? Came from the same source. Of course it is. That is what I mean by that when I say we are individualized expressions of one source, okay? Helps to paint pictures, all right? So I think that that's a cool little bit of info here for you for vlog number 3. Again, I don't want to make these things long. I want to keep them under 10 minutes because it's just a quick little blurb about oneness. But I hope you all are well as we're finding our way through these uncertain times. And please, as a reminder, again, it really means a lot to me. Like I said, I am no longer on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. So here on YouTube is where I reside. So by all means, subscribe again and send me your email, all right? Because on my YouTube page, I have all of these vlogs, obviously. I have that Oneness Guy podcasts, all right, which the podcast you can find on any and all podcasting sites and apps. I have my music videos. I have all of my performances, all of my live performances, either with bands or as a solo artist, oneness performances, speaking engagements and such. So please, by all means, check out and please subscribe to my YouTube page, okay? So I see that I'm honing in right on the 10-minute mark about now. So with that said, again, stay well, all right? In peace, love, light, and oneness. Namaste. Be well.
Hey.